Hello there, Chef D Malfi here, and I want to welcome you to Plant-Based Made Easy. That's the space that you're in with me right now. I'm very excited to be back. It's Tuesday it's Tuesday and so we're making lunch. It's not Tuesday because of anything. It's Tuesday and we're making lunch today. I'm going to show you how to make one of my all-time favorites. It's a curried lentil sando. Curried lentil sandwiches are my favorite because they're super flavor packed. They're full of fiber and they're full of protein. But I happen to love that curry flavor. And so today I'm going to pair it with some delicious sweet and savory items like golden raisins and a little bit of cashews, glyphosate free, of course. We'll talk about that. And then I'm going to build this sandwich. It's going to be so yummy. And it comes together really quickly. So let's get into it. If you want to follow along and you want this recipe, you can get it right from my Plant-Based Made Easy September cookbook. That's what's in my hand here. It is a downloadable cookbook and you can print it out and you can enjoy all the recipes within. It is a month-long recipe cookbook and it's going to give you different recipes for different types of different times of day. So on Mondays we do breakfast, then we go to lunch. On Wednesdays we do dinner. On Thursdays we do snacks, and on Fridays we end the week with a sweet treat like desserts, crumbles, cookies, things like that. And then on the weekends, you'll find staple recipes. Today, I'm going to talk to you about one of the staple recipes. These are things like yogurt and cheese and bread. These are things that I get often asked about, like how do I go vegan or plant-based without my staple recipes? Well, I'm going to show you that you don't have to spend a lot of money in the market. You can actually make everything at home for a lot less expensive and super stress-free. These are super foolproof recipes. So let's get into it. So curried lentil sandwiches. I love this. I'm going to start with the first ingredient, which is going to be our protein source. I'm going to get a big bowl and I'm going to do a split screen so that you guys can follow along with me. All right. So we're going to use black lentils or regular lentils today. You could use green lentils. You could use pui lentils. It doesn't matter. Get yourself some lentils though. And I'm showing you that I love to get them pre-steamed. They come in this box or bag. They sometimes come in a can as well, but this is a bag that comes in a box. I took the box off. And what I'm going to do is just actually take them out of this air sealed container by running my knife around it. And then I have a big bowl underneath. And I'm going to squeeze them into the big bowl. That's how I found this works really, really well. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Mom. Hi, Diane. Good to see everyone. Hey, if you guys have questions along the way about anything related to your plant-based journey, related to this recipe or other recipes that we've prepared, or heck, anything, I'm an open book. I want to hear from you and I want to help you. So please ask your question. You can type it right into the comment box and I'll see it, all right? All right, so I have my lentils. I have them dropped into just a big giant bowl here. This is going to be my storage container. And now I want to transfer some into my mixing bowl. And it's really important that you use these lentils up quickly. It's about 3 cups or so, and it will spoil very, very quickly. Because they're pre-cooked, you want to eat them within 2, max 3 days, all right? And if you go a little over that, you'll see when you open the lentils after the 3rd or 4th or 5th day, they will start to smell a little moldy. I don't recommend enjoying them after the 2nd or 3rd day max, all right? So I'm going to grab the lentils that I need. I need 1.5 cups of cooked lentils. So I'm going to measure this out with my big cup here. I think that's probably good. 1.5 cups or so. Great. All right, the next thing that we want is we need a sauce, some mayo, some yogurt. In this case, I'm going to talk to you about my vegan yogurt, all right? So in my recipe book, in this cookbook for this month, keep calling it a recipe book. It's actually a cookbook. I don't know why I keep saying that today. It's not what I usually call it, a cookbook. In the cookbook, you'll find the staple recipe for Greek yogurt, all right? So this is a wonderful and super easy yogurt recipe. And it's going to be within the first few weeks. I think it's actually the first. Let me pull it up and show you. I believe it's one of the easiest. I've found it's definitely one of the easiest yogurt recipes that you can possibly make. Here it is. It's week 1. It's the weekend recipe after week 1, and it's the Greek yogurt recipe. You guys, this is so darn simple. All it contains is 1.5 cups of raw cashews that have been soaked overnight or minimum 12 hours. And then you drain those raw cashews out of their liquid, their draining liquid, and you put the soaked cashews into a blender and add salt, a little filtered water. This is fresh filtered water, like 1 3/4 of a cup. And then you want 2 probiotic capsules. That's what's going to give you the really good probiotic culture. And then also you want psyllium husks. This is going to be a really big dose of fiber in your yogurt, which if you don't use psyllium husks, it's not actually a very protein or fiber rich yogurt. And we definitely want that. And that's it. You mix it together and then you pour it into a glass jar, just like this. And then you add that glass jar right to your 110-degree oven. And that's really a fermentation, like cooking temp. And you want to put it in your oven at 110 degrees and you want to cook it. You want to ferment it for 12 to 24 hours. Now at 12 hours, you're going to get a really loose, kind of thin, kind of like farmer's yogurt, very standard yogurt, kind of like what I have right here. If you go the full 24 hours of the ferment at 110 degrees, you'll get a Greek yogurt. It's going to be thick. It's going to be creamy, and Fage has nothing on your homemade yogurt. All right. That's the Greek yogurt that I used to get. Fage, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm telling you, this stuff is better. I made it a couple of times and I had Danny taste it without sort of even knowing. And earlier that week, I had already purchased like a store-bought vegan yogurt. And I'm telling you, him and I both, hands down, thought that the homemade yogurt was way better. It's more versatile too. It kind of takes on the taste or the flavor of sour cream. And so it's really thick and you can use it for a lot of different things. Obviously it's unsweetened, but it has those cultures and it has that sweet tang because of the cultures, the probiotics. And so it's great. We're going to use a little bit of that today. We're going to use 2 tablespoons. You can use any nut that you want as well. That's about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more. And then you want a little bit of your flavor agents. Let me get back to our page. All right, so flavor agents, in this case, I'm going to use a little S&P freshly ground black pepper, a little bit of sea salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of each, you guys. But if you're salt-free, leave it out. And then, of course, we need some curry powder. I'm going to use this beautiful Frontier Co-op curry powder. Excuse my Band-Aid. I burnt myself. Yes, that still happens all the time to me. A little curry powder, 1.5 teaspoons. I was debating. I was like, should I have my Band-Aid on or should they just see the like big burn mark? Band-Aid. 1.5 teaspoons. I'm using the yellow curry too, and it's super mild, but you can use anything. This is a curry that has coriander, turmeric, and mustard. It's really, really great. It's yummy with all the other ingredients. So those are our flavor agents. Yeah, let's do a question. All right, this comes from Natalie. Hi, Natalie. If I use powdered probiotics, what's the measurement to suggest? Really good question. You know, when you've taken a pill capsule of a probiotic, if you actually open up a pill capsule of a probiotic, you'll see within it doesn't contain more than probably an 1/8 to a 1/4 teaspoon of the powdered probiotic. So really, that's the rule of thumb. When you're using a powdered probiotic that's not in a capsule, it's like 2 portions, which is 2 1/8 or 2 1/4 teaspoons. Does that make sense? And of course, you can up your ounce, you can up your amount or you can lessen your amount. It really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. And you should look at the label on the back of the bag or on the back of the capsule bottle and see what did they qualify as a unit of measure. So probably, Natalie, your bag, if it's not in capsule form, if it's in powder form, it will say like 1/4 teaspoon. I'm curious, will you look on the back of your bag that you have and will you share it with us? Thank you for your question.
One other question?
Yeah, let's do another question. All right, this comes from my mom, Roberta. She's finding that she loves the recipes with lentils. Were you not a lentil fan before, Mom? I love that you love lentils now. It's one of my favorites. She's been cooking them in her Instapot. So how do you store them after you prepare them? Will they last longer than store-bought? Really good question. I actually think it's the same. So once you cook lentils, because they're so small, and actually because they have, they're kind of like an oily or fatty bean. All beans kind of are, but because of this, they're going to actually spoil within that 2 to 3 day range. So you really need to eat them within 2 to 3 days. Okay, doesn't matter if you're getting them in the can or pre-steamed in the bag or the box like I have, or you're making them at home. 2 to 3 days max. All right, and think of all the different uses. You can actually make them curried lentil sandos. You can make I love lentil bolognese over pasta. It's like making regular pasta bolognese, but instead of ground beef, pork, or anything else, you can just use lentils. So good. One of my favorite ways to use lentils. I also do lentil croquettes or patties, where you actually can make little balls or patties with almond meal or breadcrumbs, herbs, chives, salt and pepper. really good. Fry them up in a little saute pan, add a little yogurt sauce next to it. Really yummy. Lots of different uses for lentils. Good questions. All right, so I have this in here. Next thing that I need to add are our veggies, our accompaniments, right? So I'm going to use both veggies. Those are the savory ingredients, and I'm going to use some sweet elements like golden raisins. So let's start with the veggies. I'm going to begin with the celery, and I want one large stalk of celery. I just have these little tiny stalks of celery from my CSA box. Sometimes they come really, really small, and I don't mind it. I kind of prefer the celery that's like thin like this because it has a more of a celery flavor. It's really nice. So what I like to do is run my knife over these bits, over these long pieces, and create really long julienne pieces, and then small bits as I run my knife over it. Just small pieces. You don't want large chunks. Try to match the lentil. Think about the lentil. Think about the size of the lentil. And I don't want to go overboard with this. I can do that. I want probably, it ends up being about 1/4 of a cup. The rest I'll just put right in the compost bin. Oh, the worms will love that. You guys, we're getting huge worms in our compost bin. Like, that's a good thing. We're getting huge worms. They're very happy. I'm putting my celery right over the lentils. All right, the next thing that we want to add are some scallions, super duper savory. We want some onion quality. Oh, I have to show you. I actually am storing these inside of a mason jar or glass jar. 16 ounces is what I'm using so that they stand straight up and they don't like bend over, right? A traditional glass would be like an 8-ounce glass. And then as these sit, they can kind of like weep over the edges. So I want a really tall glass or a mason jar, a little bit of water, like 2 inches. And you guys can keep this on your windowsill and it will continue to grow. You can actually chop off the top and it will continue to grow. It might grow 2 to 3 times more. And that's a really great way to kind of use up your green onions. And then when you're not using them, I say like in the evening, you throw them right into your refrigerator, just right in the cup or the mason jar, and let them go to bed in the fridge. And then at night, take them out and they need a little sun to regrow. And I want 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to use the white part and a little bit of the light green part. You can use shallot. You could even use red onion if you wanted to. It would be a little stronger in flavor, but it would still be delicious. Cool. 2 tablespoons. You can chop this even more if you wanted to. I feel like that's great. All right, now I want to add some crunch. I'm going to use some cashews. So let's talk about these. These are wonderful cashews, you guys. I get my cashews right from Almond Cow. Now, if you don't know what Almond Cow is, it's a plant milk maker, and I talk about it all the time. It's actually in my cookbook. You can have a little discount code if you purchase my cookbook, and it's a plant milk maker, and they actually now sell the nuts to go and the seeds to go with the plant milk maker. It's called the Almond Cow. I love the name. And they just recently came out with these beautiful cashew pieces that are perfect for yogurt making, cheese making, milk making, and they're wonderful because they're in pieces and most importantly, they're glyphosate free. Now, this is an interesting situation that we're in currently right now. Glyphosate, as some of you may know, is a chemical that's sprayed onto crops all over the United States. It's been sprayed on crops for decades and decades. And what we're finding is glyphosate, which goes by the commercial name of Roundup, is a chemical that is really wreaking havoc on not only our soil and the health of our soil, but now we know within our gut microbiome. So many of us have major probiotic and active culture and really good bacteria deficiencies in our gut microbiome because of all the foods that we eat that are contaminated and sprayed with glyphosate. Now, what's really interesting, I just read this morning that the state of New York is currently holding a piece of legislation that will outlaw the use of glyphosate in the state of New York. So, Mr. Cuomo himself is looking at this piece of legislation right now, and they are deciding upon it. So I'm just going to like send them a lot of love into this cashew situation, into this glyphosate situation. Look at my shirt. We're voting for the future, and that definitely includes our soil, our politicians, and the health of our people. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of glyphosate-free cashews. Get these from Almond Cow if you want, you guys. It is definitely worth it. I'm going to give these a quick chop. And I like cashews in my curried lentil sandos because they're kind of soft. They're not overly crunchy Like a peanut might be overly crunchy. An almond is way too crunchy, I think, for this salad. I want a soft nut. A macadamia nut would also work really well. Just make sure it's kind of like one of the softer nuts and chop it up. Remember, we're trying to match the size of all the ingredients. So the lentils, the celery, the scallions, in this case, the cashews, and any other ingredients that you add. Just make sure that it's diced up. And you can make this your own. I say that about all recipes that I offer, but I want you to really, truly make all of them your own. Add ingredients that I'm not adding if it's something that you love or your family loves. So cashews go right in. And I think just one final ingredient, some golden raisins. So I'm going to use golden raisins because I really love the taste and the flavor. They're more tart and they're sweet, but they're not as sweet. They're sort of more on the tart side, which is really great. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of these. And even though they're pretty much like this, the smallest of the raisin family, I'm going to run my knife over them, even the raisins, because I really want to make sure that all of this mixture, the lentil mixture and everything, is consistent in size, nice and even pieces. Perfect. You could use dried cranberries. You could even use dried cherries. Get into it. Get whatever it is that you see that you like, add. All right, let me just make sure I have everything. Lentils, check. Yogurt, check. Celery, scallion, cashew, raisin, check. Curry powder, sea salt, black pepper. Done. That's it. All right, so it's in my bowl. Grab yourself a nice fork and have at it. And it's kind of like tuna salad. Like, get into it, mix it up. If you notice that you might need more yogurt, add a little more yogurt. You could use sour cream, or in your case, your homemade Greek yogurt, which is kind of multi-purpose because it's so darn delicious and thick and tangy and creamy. You could use mayo even, although mayo has a lot of oil in it, and so it's definitely not as healthy as yogurt. Also, mayo doesn't have any of those live cultures, those beautiful cultures like yogurt has. And now, just like tuna, you can mash it up and then decide if you want to add anything else. Like, I often will make tuna and then I have all the ingredients just sitting out before I put everything away. So after I kind of mix it together, I evaluate. I take a taste, I take a look, and I'm evaluating, like, what is the bread? What is the vehicle that I'm serving the sando on? Is it going to be a roll up, like in a tortilla or a pita? Are you going to put it on top of a salad? In that case, you might want it to be really well dressed. Is it going to be like on a flatbread, in a pinwheel? Like, however you're using it and whatever vehicle you're going to serve it with, determine how much of the sort of sauce you want. I think I'm going to go for a little bit more yogurt, to be honest. Maybe 2 more tablespoons. So I'm doubling it. Yeah, let's do a question.
What kind of lentils do you like?
Yeah. Okay. What kind of lentils do I like? My favorite are pui lentils. They're hard to find. They're like little round, kind of like much more round lentil. But traditionally what you can find in market are either green or brown or black. I don't have a preference. I think all of them are great. But you can definitely just use green or black, whatever you can find. It truly doesn't matter. Whatever you have on hand. You can make lentils from scratch too, because they don't take a long time to boil and to cook up. Thank you so much for your question. I want to pronounce your name right. I think it's Cici. Yes, hopefully. If it's Chichi, I think it's Cici. Thank you for your question, Cici. Now I think we've found the perfect consistency for these lentil sandwiches and the lentil filling here. Very reminiscent of tuna salad, very reminiscent of curry chicken salad, right? All kind of like in the same vein. Now I thought it'd be really nice to serve this lentil sando on my homemade baked bread. If you guys want that recipe, it is in week 4. It's the staple recipe. But I wanted to also show you a few other options. Today I'm going to actually serve it on this wonderful bread. This is Ezekiel 49 bread. Has anyone ever heard of this brand? I got to give this company a little love right now. This is the original low glycemic flourless sprouted grain bread. Such a mouthful. Such a flavorful mouthful indeed. This stuff is so good. They actually have 4 flavors. One of them is no salt, one of them is whole wheat, one of them is sesame, and one of them is cinnamon raisin. I've tried all of them. I have to say thank you so much, Ezekiel. I love your company. I love your bread. They use actual grains that are mentioned in the Holy Scriptures, and it's actually, I'm not just like, I'm not just like quoting the Bible here. I'm reading right from the label. It says, take also unto the wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and spelt and put them into one vessel and make bread out of it. That is right from the Bible, Ezekiel 4:9. I love their company. I love it not because I need to have Bible verses on my bread, although, hey, I'll take it. I like it because they're really using these ancient ingredients to make something that's really delicious. And they're sprouting all of these ingredients. So it's sprouted wheat, sprouted barley, sprouted lentils, sprouted millet, and sprouted spelt. So what does that do? Well, it becomes more bioavailable in your body. So you can actually really take in the fiber, take in the protein, take in the micronutrients, the minerals, the vitamins. It truly makes a big difference. So I'm going to use the cinnamon raisin bread, and bonus points. They've got a Holy Spirit bird just floating out down here. I just love it. I just love it. Absolutely. I'm going to use their cinnamon raisin, and I have 2 slices toasted up. I thought the raisin might be really great with the curried lentil. Now you can actually use anything that you want as a garnish. I thought apple might be nice. I sometimes do this, so I just wanted to show you. Actually, I didn't do that right. I wanted to show you. Take a little apple, and you can actually thinly slice some, like 3 pieces, and just like you would a pickle or whatever, throw your apple right on the bread. I think I need 1 more piece. And this is going to give it a sweetness, but also a crunch. It's like a cucumber, but it's sweeter. And it's perfect for this sandwich. Totally optional. It's just something that I do. And then you can also put tomato, red onion. How about this beautiful purple leaf or red leaf lettuce, which I have here. This is straight from my CSA box. I've washed it already. I'm just going to remove that big core at the bottom and just let this sit. There we go. No, I think I'll do it like this because then I'll capture all the lentils within. Yummy. I'm now going to take my lentil mixture, and I'm just going to like position it inside of the red leaf lettuce. It's kind of, I'm using it as kind of like a scoop or a cup. It like is held within the sort of the vein of the lettuce, which is great. That means when you bite into it, it's not going to just like fall off. It's like being held. That looks really great. I think I need 1 more scoop.
Question.
Yeah, let's do another question.
Could you use chickpeas?
Oh, good question. Can I use chickpeas instead of lentils? This comes from Taylor. I love lentils, but they hurt my gut. Haha. I love that.
Another similar question from Claudia.
Oh, and Claudia asks maybe something similar. What can I do? I want to make this with chickpeas. I want to make chickpea meatballs, but they're all falling apart. Okay, so yes, you can use chickpeas. 2 questions. You can use chickpeas, definitely, as a place of replacement for the lentils. And then if you are making like a meatless meatball with lentils or chickpeas or any other bean or pulse, you can definitely keep them from falling apart by using 2 ingredients. The first would be either a breadcrumb or an almond meal. I opt in for almond meal because it's gluten-free. So like that pulsed almonds that's been pulsed down to a flour, it's called almond meal. You can use that in your meatless meatball, and then add a little bit of arrowroot starch or flour. Just literally sprinkle it on. You don't have to make a slurry here. You can just sprinkle on a little arrowroot. That's like just like cornstarch. And if you mix it up and as it starts to like soak up some of the moisture in your meatless meatball or whatever it is that you're making, it will adhere. It sort of acts like a glue. So yes, absolutely, you can use any pulses or beans, even chickpeas and peas as the base of this curry lentil sandwich instead of lentils. And you can use good glue agents like almond meal, breadcrumbs, or a little arrowroot powder. All right, so I have my sando. I'm going to just cut it in triangle because you have to. Makes it pretty. Don't worry if it kind of falls apart.
Toast the bread?
I did toast the bread. I'll just show you this 1/2 because I want you to see inside. Look at this, you guys. Beautiful curried lentil sando. We got those apple pieces, red leaf lettuce, the curried lentils, Oh my goodness. This looks really good. And I'm loving this bread. I think that was a very good call. I'm going to get into this and taste it. Here we go. Oh my God. So good. Must try. Yum. That's so good. I could totally imagine doing this at like keeping this in my repertoire and just doing it all the time. Like maybe for November, bringing this back out, maybe sharing this with my family, and instead of golden raisins, adding cranberries and maybe a lot more. So it really has that cranberry flavor. This is so good. I could even see like putting a little like jam or jelly on the base of the toast, like not too much, just a little bit, and just like kind of sweeten up the toast a little bit if you wanted something more sweet than savory. Or I could see going the complete other direction. Pickles, red onion, tomato, lettuce, and mayo. Yum. This sandwich is super versatile. I want you to try it. And if you try it, let me know what you think, okay? There's been a lot of questions here, so I think there's a lot of curiosity about the curried lentil sando. Take a picture too. If you take this, if you do this, take a photo, drop it into our Plant-Based Made Easy Facebook group, because we want to see what your delicious creations are all about. We've been getting a lot of beautiful photos of people's foods from all over the world, and we're 1,300 people and growing, and it's really a global community. We have people from Abu Dhabi, China, Australia, Spain, Russia, the Greek islands, like all over. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, not just for the support. That's obvious, I think. And if it's not obvious, I thank you. I'm so grateful. But what I'm mostly grateful for is that people are waking up to the possibility of plant-based and the possibility of literally changing their entire lives through the power of their plate. That's something that I always knew that I was here to do, and I'm finally manifesting it. I feel really good. And I thank you for being a part of this community. You guys, please come back for more. Tomorrow is going to be a really great show. We're going to do a chickpea crust pizza. All right. I'm going to make a Soko chickpea crust. It's like a really thin, kind of like a crepe crust with chickpea flour. And we're going to build a pizza on it. It's going to be fantastic. So I will see you next time. And until then, we're voting for our future. Peace.